Good evening. My name is AJ Johnson, and I'm going to be talking about effective speeches. Robert Frost once said, half the world is composed of people who have something to say and can't, and the other half is composed of somebody who has nothing to say but keeps saying it. Anyone can give a speech, but not everyone knows how to give an effective speech. To give an effective speech, there are several elements you need to follow. First, be prepared. The more prepared you are, the better your speech will flow. People who spend about 30 hours or more per hour of speech tend to do a lot better and get their point across appropriately. If you're not organized, your speech isn't organized. If your speech isn't organized, people don't know what you're talking about. They could think you're just jibber-jabbering about some topic that you might be rambling on in your mind. Use a tape recorder or a video recorder to listen to yourself and be able to hear how you flow. The better you flow, the better you're able to deliver that speech. Deliver a performance, not a speech, because the more that you're able to make people buy into your topic, the better you'll be. Give of yourself. Use personal examples about your life and situations at the topic you may be talking about. Your stories must match your topic. That way you don't chase rabbits, as they call it, and people lose sight of what you're talking about. In either case, be willing to give yourself by sharing something with the audience. Make it personable. Also, stay relaxed. If you're relaxed and you're confidently relaxed, the audience can see that as well. You should focus on your message and not the audience, though. Use gestures, include walking patterns, but don't use frantic walking patterns. Give a reason to why you're walking. Practice opening your speech and plan how you're going to say it. The audience is going to judge the first 30 seconds of your speech, and from then they will determine whether they pay attention to the following few minutes or however long your speech might be. Also, avoid signs of nervousness. Avoid the fidgeting. Don't play with jewelry. Don't walk around in circles. Make sure you have calmness and ability to stay focused. Use natural humor. Don't be a stand-up comedian, but you can poke a little fun at yourself or something you've said or done. But remember, don't poke any fun at the audience because they may take it offensive and they may just walk out. You want to keep your audience entertained, but don't be too rude about it. Plan your body and hand positions. During the practice of your speech, look for occasions where you can use a gesture. Establish 3 positions where you will stand while you're giving your speech. One should be off to the left, one spot central, and one spot off to the right. And know when you need to move to those positions during your speech. But when you're moving to those positions during your speech, don't lose eye contact with the audience, because if you lose eye contact, then they lose the focus of what you're talking about. According to the American Express business prep class, deliver a performance rather than a speech. A speech is primarily about the words, but performance is about a story. You want to tell them the story and why you want them to believe in your story. Use the power of eye contact. If you use eye contact, you know that person is listening and you have focus. Don't hide behind a podium or a lectern, as they may call it. Make sure that everybody can see you, the individual. You don't want to see from the chest up like you see as there are in certain college speeches. Tell a compelling story. Don't tell some story that seems made up. Tell a story that they believe, that they can picture themselves seeing as well. Also, vary your cadence. Vary how fast you talk, how loud you talk. If you have a story that you want somebody to be intrigued, you may talk a little louder and give a little more emphasis on how you speak. If you just mumble words, people will not pay attention. Speak about what you know and care about. You want to make sure that the audience is able to stay intrigued about what you want to talk about and what you want them to hear. Use note cards. Don't use big pieces of paper, because big pieces of paper, even at a long distance, somebody can see you shaking if you're nervous. It makes you look more professional. Always remember to smile. If you don't have a smile on your face, you'll lose the audience's love and compassion for what you're talking about. And remember, like I talked about before, don't move in a panic manner. Be organized. Know where you're going to move to and why you're going to move there. If it's to be involved at a school and you're wanting to get the football team to be intrigued about what you're talking about. You may move towards that football team in the school audience when you're talking about something like sports or commitment or compassion for what's going on. Arrange the environment you're talking in to suit your presentation and your presentation style. If you're talking in a library or something like that, you may not want to talk in the area that's got all the kids' books and all the posters and everything like that of the stories that are in the library. You may also want to see if you can erase whatever notes or something may be on a dry erase board or chalkboard, because you want those individuals that are in front of you to stay focused on you, the presenter, not what's on the board that may have notes from earlier in the day or the day before. Remember, facial expressions are everything. If you look angry, the people in the audience may be angry. If you look happy, the people in the audience are going to be happy. Also, feel comfortable about how you're delivering your speech. Just look relaxed. If you don't look relaxed, you look nervous, the audience is going to pick up on that. Pay attention to details. Make sure you have the right location. If you're talking to students, you may want to be in a gymnasium or a school. If you're talking to business reps, you may want to be in a hotel conference room, something that's more professional, something that you can have coffee and concierge type things, such as small snacks or something like that that the hotel will be able to provide that for. Also, make sure you have a big enough room. Make sure you know your audience that you're going to be talking to. If you have 600 people, you don't want a small room. You want a very large room. You want a room that looks like it can handle that mass amount of people without them feeling cramped or uncomfortable. Because if somebody's uncomfortable, they're not going to pay attention to your speech. Also, remember the time and date. Make sure that it's earlier in the morning, just after breakfast, or maybe even provide breakfast for them. Or if it's going to be around lunchtime, make sure you provide the lunch for them. You don't want somebody showing up to a speech that may be there for an hour and a half and then being hungry while they're there, because they're not going to pay attention to what you're talking about, and they may actually get up and leave. Make sure you bring visual aids if you need them, and plenty of handouts. You always want to have enough handouts to hand out for your crowd. You don't want 500 people show up and only have 100 handouts. Leave early enough prior to your speech so you know where you're going to be talking. Is it going to be on a stage? Or is it going to be an amphitheater type where the audience is above you, where they see everything you do? Do you want to be the authoritative type and stand above them? Or do you want to be the performance type and stand below them, where they can look down and see the performance they're going to give? Remember, always pay attention to every detail that you can find. You can never overplan, and always remember this: he who fails to plan is planning for failure. Thank you, and have a good time.